It is a privilege to cover this White House.
Well, I just happened to be watching our president talking to the Alabama, I can't remember which university it is, but anyway, he's talking to this university, and in amongst the hooray for the coaches and stuff, and hooray for me, and I'm the most wonderful guy in the world, I won all elections in the world, he put in a little comment, and I'm going to show you this comment in a minute. It's about freedom of the press and how it should be free. Let's watch this.
To the journalism majors, of which I've had a lot of problems with. I must be honest. I'm not sure I like them. No, I do. But you're really leading a very thing, because we need a great and free press. We need a brilliant press. They're like a watchkeeper. They're very important.
Then I got to looking through the internet. He made a speech to the Department of Justice talking about freedom of the press. Actually, not talking about freedom of the press. Talking about repressing the press. Convicting the press. Yeah. And he wants that freedom of press. Freedom of ones that look only to how wonderful he is.
After me, these networks and these newspapers are really no different than a highly paid political operative. And it has to stop. It has to be illegal. It's influencing judges, and it's really changing law, and it just cannot be legal. I don't believe it's legal. Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal, and MSDNC, and the fake news CNN, and ABC, and CBS, and NBC, and they'll write whatever they say. And what do you do to get rid of it? You convict Trump. All you have to do is be really tough on him and ultimately convict him, and they leave you alone. It's totally illegal what they do. I just hope you can all watch for it, but it's totally illegal.
Another one I found that I thought was interesting.
And it's frankly disgusting the way the press is able to write whatever they want to write.
There is an outfit called Reporters Without Borders, kind of like Doctors Without Borders, but a report. And they're saying something about what has happened to freedom of the press in different countries. What they reported was the United States has gone way down in freedom of the press. It is being repressed.
There's an organization that's called Reporters Without Borders, and every year they put out an annual measure of world press freedom. We should put up this chart. They just issued their most recent report, and it says that press freedoms in the United States have fallen to historical lows.
And then there was another one. This one's pretty recent, about the AP. Trump got mad at the AP and kicked him out of the press briefing and the White House because they wouldn't call his Gulf of America, or Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. Like Trump wants it to be Gulf of America. And they wouldn't say that, so he kicked him out. And there was a back and forth with the press secretary that I thought was kind of funny. Did you realize the press is a privilege? I do think it is in the Constitution, but the press secretary calls it a privilege. A privilege to be able to question the president. We kind of don't do that so much. We really want that guy to be held liable, held to account. And that's what the press does. At least it's supposed to. But listening to her, and we'll put this on in a minute here, it's just a privilege. And if we think you're lying, we're going to go after you. So, will there be criminal prosecutions? Yeah, by the end of this term, I think you're going to see them. Yeah, I think that's coming. Anyway, watch this.
Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office.
Is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable.
So what's the end result here? His words are lies, as they always are lies. He talks about freedom of press, but it's only free to do what he wants it to do, which is not really freedom of press, is it? Ow. Anyway, I thought this was interesting, and so I gathered these little chunks up so you could watch, and that's it on this one.